You're listening to Africa Business Radio, where you get up-to-date insights on the Africa business landscape. Log on to www.africabusinessradio.com. Your favorite shows are available on podcasts. Download them on our website and mobile app. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
They are 1.8 billion globally. They would make 75% of workforce by 2025. They will outspace earnings of baby boomers in less than 10 years. Smartphones and tablets are the argument settlers and fact checkers for every conversation. Get more insights on African millennials on Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
That's cool on the beat.
Wow, I mean, I'm happy to be in the studio on this wonderful Friday afternoon. I mean, it's so sunny. I'm sure if you bring out raw eggs and put it in a bowl outside, it's going to either cook or fry. I mean, the most vibrant coastal city of West Africa is practically hot right now, you know. Thank God for life. How's everybody doing? How are my guys in Ghana? How are my guys in Mali? How are my guys in South Africa? How are my guys in the UK, in Northern America? How's everybody doing? How's your week? You know, I was having a conversation with a friend this week, and he was like, man, this week was so hectic and at the same time so fast. Like, he didn't even know she didn't even know it was Friday already. But at the end of the day, what I'm happy for is we all have things we're trying to do. You know, we're waking up in the morning with something, even though it looks like maybe there's a challenge hanging somewhere. There's something positive, you know, to just keep the day going. So, yep, that's the energy that I'm bringing into the studio. I'm sure from the introduction, you guys should have understood the kind of week I had. Because I'm just trying to get myself together. All right, it's a wonderful Friday afternoon, and it's the African Millennial Radio Show on Africa Business Radio, from the prime. Is it one of the most important local governments in Nigeria? Etiosa, from Ikoyi, Lagos, right? And my producer is really winking at me. I'm not winking, eyeing me and saying, "Dude, just get into this thing and let's start." I always say this thing, that I have a very interesting guest in the house, you know, and I'm sure from every episode, everybody knows that at the end of the year, the guest is interesting. And this time around, I don't want to just say an interesting guest, you know, I want to say I have someone who, from the first time I met him, I could see that this is a person of so much quality of wisdom and knowledge in what he does. I think he was at Burna Boy's BET welcome party when he won the Most African Act that night, and Bada was the host, right? And it was me, you, and Jimmy Jats, you know, just in that. It was really interesting, an interesting night, right? And he told me a wonderful story, because it gave me a ride back home, or in a way ride back home. It told me a wonderful story. I hope we get to that story, you know, on this episode. But let me tell you guys a bit about this wonderful person. Ernest Audu, also known as Rabbi, is an African music executive and entrepreneur. He started off his journey in the industry by offering street team and label support services to labels like Storm Records, Westside Records, Starville, Laface, etc. Working with on-brands like DJ Jimmy Jats, Lil H, Sasha P, Neato C, LD, Basket Mount, etc. Before founding his own entertainment company called PEACEVILLE Entertainment. That's PEACEVILLE, VILLE, peace of mind. PEACEVILLE Entertainment. Since then, Ernest has delivered and or managed artists such as DJ Crayon, Egar Boi. Is it Egar Boi or Egar Boi? Egar Boi. Alright, Egar Boi, J Slick, Vector, Nosa, Lamborghini, etc. and offered label support services for labels like Universal, Motown, Mavin, Empire, etc. I mean, I'm in front of an oracle, guys. Ernest is a passionate entertainment business consultant who seeks to constantly develop and manage Africa's creative potentials. Wow.
Yeah,
Good.
Like
afternoon. There was this joke that went, there was this meme that went around this week, or was it last week, where one of these two guys, Aki and Papa, was sitting down with a big suit on, and they said how guest ministers. I think you had that post as I was reading all of this now. But how's it going though?
It's been interesting.
Interesting. What is it? Life? Is it work? Is it the country? Is it Africa?
I mean, in general, things are happening. We're in strange times. Opportunities. I mean, interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So interesting means the good, bad, on the ugly.
Depends on what lens you're putting on what day.
Okay, no problem. Now, talking about interesting things, can you share your thoughts about the development of talent in entertainment here? I'm sure you have an experience spanning a spectrum of 2 decades at least. So can you share your thoughts about the development on talent in Africa in the entertainment space?
First, I would say it's been very encouraging. I'd seen, especially in the space where what you see was people just trying to, first of all, give you sweet melodies or just something, that look like what you know. And then you have the entire, fan base just accepting it because it's just home, moving from that to people then paying attention to the message now. Right. People wanting to, let's spend some time to put in some lyrics to this thing. Let's spend some time to look at our storyline. Then moving from there to people actually saying, okay, how can we become very professional with these things? People really learning how to sing properly, people going to film schools, people, you see that, those different phases showing up, and right now it's just amazing where entertainment is right now in Africa.
I mean, I could just see the large gap from the productions like what the Remedies guys did, in a studio, to what boys are doing right now, just in a hotel room.
In fact, 2 days ago, I was just going. I think this morning I was just going through. Son had this college of videos from back then. And I was just going through them. I see how the video quality itself are just improved. The songs, the production, everything. You can tell, even the artists right now, the confidence, everything's just.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. Especially in an environment that seems to be on reverse, some things are actually on gear one.
Yeah,
that's really good, right? And so something I've always wondered, right, is I'm a big fan of work ethics. I mean, I just want to see you get the work done, right? And I can see the results of the guys in the West, right? Now, this thing is not just a fluke. These guys were hardworking. I follow interesting Hollywood accounts on Instagram, and I see the things that these guys were doing as far back as 1922. How they were just putting thoughts and things into just making it excellence. Fast forward today, what they can do. Now, do you think that what do you think about the work ethic of African talents in relations to the experiences you've had in the West?
You see, I think this question can also be very relative, because you're looking at when work can be measured effectively, when work can be when you have structures that can tell you the different milestones that you've taken and can be captured. One can then say, okay, this is the amount of work that's gone in, and these are the results that we've seen. In a structure where you cannot measure people's work, you cannot really capture the amount of work that's gone into something. It then begins to, for instance, we hear of people like Omale, for instance. I mean, the work that he has put in, that you may not know, I may not know, is a lot different from someone who probably goes to a music academy, a known academy back. But let's just take the movie industry, for instance. What someone who, maybe like a Funke Akindele or somebody who has put in over the years that we don't know, and then right now what you're seeing is those blockbuster movies and all that stuff. You're like, hard work. You start measuring the work based on when you paid attention to them. As opposed when someone, was captured from a film school, to probably the days in Broadway, some stage plays, captured, effect, and you have those structure that recognize those efforts, capture those efforts and somewhat reward those efforts, So I would say you have, if not even arguably for me, I would say you have more work out here. But when you don't have those structures that first of all enhances what you do, help capture those moments, provide, guidelines so that you're doing the work that you should do. Sometimes put in hard work. That's why it says relative. You can put in hard work without actually doing the right thing. So you see a lot of people putting in a lot of hard work without actually knowing what they're doing. As opposed where you're putting the effort because you know what you're doing and you're guaranteed results. So all this, it won't be a fair, comparison, but I would say, yeah, the amount of hard work boils down to individuals, not really regions.
Oh, right. So that means that if a hardworking person in these environments should find themselves in the environment of the West, where you even have structures and everything around, they would really become the stars.
So if not do better. I mean, we've seen this in education, we've seen this in sports, we've seen this in other quarters as well. Right.
I mean, that's actually very interesting because, and I'm happy that it's coming from someone who is in the business of it. Right. For some people, just think that work ethic here is. I mean, that's really good. I just learned something new myself.
People work hard.
People work hard. Yeah.
People work hard.
That's really good. Now, with your experience, right? Do you have maybe practical examples that you can share of when talent and hard work together saved the day? Right, so it's not just talent and you just jump but then talent and hard work. Right, I have a picture in my head, but I want to hear from you first.
So I would say the immediate example for me would be Burna Boy, for obvious reasons. I mean, he has he's talkable, right now. So the talent is Burna is undoubtedly talented. But didn't take the place of hard work. And you see this in, what he puts in terms of his music. You see, there's certain, deliberate effort. You see, I mean, look at the Grammy performance. Everybody went, whoa. You could tell that
was really good.
Yeah, you could tell that there's a whole lot of work that went in there, and I would say talent, hard work, in a case like Burna Boy, we all saw what the result is. He made the entire continent proud. So that's one example that I can.
The example that was even in my head was about stage performances. I'm big on it. Stage performances. When I was young, Michael Jackson, I never used to miss it.
Oh,
yeah. So I could just see that, okay, this guy is first of all. Then recently I go back to YouTube and I'm like, how many hours did they put into? So he had the talent, yes, he could dance. But then to now manage people who was talented as him, manage the technical guys, and then now deliver. That's something actually that was in my head.
So I mean, you definitely can take away hard work from talent, because what you have is another talented person who is another armchair critic just there. Just like we have a lot of professors right now. We have professors who are very gifted, knowledgeable. I mean, if you put them together, they can move the continent forward. But you're not doing anything. They're not getting involved with politics. They're not building universities. They're not doing anything. But they sit down and you see them watch TV and go, idiots. These foolish people. They speak all the English. So they have the gift. But nobody's ready to put in the work within that space. So what you have is like, continents that is suffering. You have I
mean, that's let's have a short break. I think we're about to get into a particular part of this conversation. Let us have a short break and then we'll go right into it.
You're listening to Africa Business Radio, where you get up-to-date insights on the Africa business landscape. log on to www.africabusinessradio.com. Your favorite shows are available on podcasts. Download them on our website and mobile app. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
They are 1.8 billion globally. They would make 75% of workforce by 2025. They will outspace earnings of baby boomers in less than 10 years. Smartphones and tablets are the argument settlers and fact checkers for every conversation. Get more insight on African millennials on Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
That's cool on the beat.
Right. So, Rabbi, the guest was just asking about the music because you really like it, yeah?
Yeah, I like
Quick
it.
story, I was on YouTube, I was looking for free Afrobeats and I found this guy called Esco. So I called him because on the phone he said it was free, right? And I said, okay, I wanted to use this bit, for a music bit for my show and everything like that. He said, okay, cool, that he won't mind anything. So I said, okay, send the account number, and I sent him some change. Just to be that he's really talented. I think after this show, I would.
I'm just environmental.
It's a vibe, actually. It's a whole vibe.
Yeah,
it's a whole vibe. Now I want to ask this thing. So there's something I believe in, that a man's gifts, right, brings him before kings. And you won't stand before mere men and things like that. So gifts in three places. I usually just say is gifts according to what you bring, you give. Gifts as in your talent, and then gifts also in words, in how you talk about people, right? Can actually bring you before people. It's a gift. So in terms of talent, our conversation today, how do you think that African talents can actually use their gifts really to become conversations in the rooms that matter? Totally.
First of all, I'd say you need to be very intentional in a very obvious way. People like to know that you know what you're doing. That's one. Also, you also want to put in excellence, not just in your talent, in the way you present the talent as well. Sometimes you know how it is, how someone can put gold in a very terrible pack and someone just misses it because it's not appealing. So that also is very key. And this can never be overemphasized. Have at least a basic understanding of your industry.
Right.
I say a lot of people who get, because of your talent, they're so focused on the talent, they're so focused on what it is that they are gifted at, and they forget basic things, as simple as, immediate competition, indirect competition, players within the space who are making milestones, or the future within the space you're in. Because when people understand, that's why you hear people say things about someone like Mr. Easy, and a few other persons, and say, this guy, seems to know what he's doing. Because it's just beyond the music, beyond the talent, beyond whatever it is that you do. There is a clear, indication that you have hunger for more. Those are things that people always want to, be a part of. Someone who is not just big now, has the ability to get bigger.
I think you even just answered the next question I was going to ask about character. So it's one thing for you to even stand before kings. It's another thing for you to actually be in those rooms.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think you just talked about having an understanding of it.
Yeah. So that's really key because, and again, it doesn't take it. The place of learning, serving, is really key. I've learned. I like the Bible stories I like telling, around these things, like three people, who come to mind. See, Moses, David, and Joseph. All three of them had to serve, setting kings. Joseph had to serve in Potiphar's house to understand his next destination is going to play. He had to serve someone who understands, structure, who understood what, working with royalties was like. Same thing with Moses. He has he was brought up in that same structure. The same thing with David as well. He was always going to.
I think you're going into the Rabbi mode right now. I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it.
What I'm saying is, when you understand people who had, great responsibilities, people who've had to lead people, in large numbers, people with different gifts, different talents, you then want to understand people who have done it, excellently, people what their mistakes were, and all that stuff from both everywhere, from history, from now, from all that stuff. So you see that the place of learning, understanding, can never be overemphasized.
And that'll actually keep you, let you know the right things to do when you get into those rooms.
Exactly.
How to sit, when to take the cup, when to.
Exactly.
Right. Joseph is my favorite, so I could see that also. In it. I was seeing this movie, Civil War.
Okay.
Was it 2 days ago? Right, and there was this part at the airport, the fight at the airport, right, in Civil War, Captain America. So there was this part where Spider-Man now faced Captain America, and he really whooped his ass. Then Captain America now, just did some things to him and then put the walkway, on him and left him there. Right, so what I could see there was the older generation and the newer generation. You get what I'm saying? That man, it wasn't a young, it was a 70-something-year-old man, or 80-something-year-old man. Right. So there's this interesting energies that I like in the younger generation. I call them Gen Z, right? I like how very bold they are with their opinions, right? And most of the people around me, belong to that generation right now. How do you think their energies can be utilized for economic development?
You see, each time I hear, have conversation around this particular set of people, demographic, it's just very interesting for me. Not just the fact, there's a cliche say, the future. It's not just the future in terms of future leaders. When you use that phrase, I always say future leaders. I'm saying the future money, the now money. They if you look at this set of new, millionaires, billionaires are cropping up everywhere in the world. They're within a certain age, and if you dig deep, it's not far away from tech base, structures. Most unicorn startup today are within that same space and whatnot. If you look at Nigeria, for instance, which of course I say Nigeria is the biggest, most populous black nation in continent. If you look at Nigeria right now, you see a lot of people within that space, and then the most common thing you hear is internet fraud. Thank God for music, thank God for sport, but it tells you that there is a craving, and there is a huge connection between them and that digital space. Now across Africa, I think leaders need to start paying attention to that space and within this, certain demographic. Just for instance, tie everything that you need to do. We talk about sports, for instance. Sports, when you think of sports, you think of entertainment. They're like cousins. You can't even, separate both of them. When you start having these things in there, and then you get people involved and start building structures that enable people. One of my favorite documentaries of all time is Men Who Built America.
Absolutely, I love that. The whole episodes of it.
So you find people who, but the argument always end up saying, they had an environment that enabled them to do so.
Okay.
Technically.
At that time?
Technically. When they were building the railroad, the government didn't say nobody can build railroad. No, it's only us. When even Rockefeller, when he was trying to do his
oil,
exactly. They didn't say it's only government that can do this. The same thing with
Carnegie,
exactly,
the light guy, JP Morgan,
and all that. So that environment that allows people to begin to build without having regulations that are so hard and whatnot. Regulations are good. I'm for regulations, but as long as regulations are flexible enough for people to begin to explore, the Gen Zs, like you said, they are very spontaneous. They're not they don't have that your regular orthodox approach to things. They think out of the box. They are very experimental. They, some might call them wasteful, but this is pretty much where research and development is, and which Africa is lacking. We find research and development across, but you see around agriculture, which is good. You see around, what about in sport? What about in entertainment? You understand? What about, research and development for just entertainment that is really structured? What about technology? What about all these things are things that when you look at it, it's something that can become, a major earner that can also impact in terms of GDP.
Oh man, thank you very much. I mean, I have a couple more questions, but I'm not sure I have a couple more time. to talk about it. I was going to talk about things alongside being a music executive in Africa and things to look out for this decade. I don't mind if you have Twitter, I could maybe just drop some threads on that.
Yeah, definitely. Because
maybe I'll just ask the questions sometime this afternoon or this evening, and then you may just reply.
Oh, definitely.
That'll be fine. And then I don't mind hearing that story again about the Jews. The story the Rabbi told you.
Oh,
on
yeah.
the plane. I love that story a lot. I've told so many people about that. That was a very, very interesting one. But all right, guys, we've come to the end of this episode with Ernest Audu, aka Rabbi. Just call him Rabbi. I mean, your Instagram is Egar Boi. That's OGARABBI.
Exactly.
Right, and then your Twitter is
at I_Rabbi.
I_Rabbi.
Egar Boi _ sorry. Egar
Rabbi _
Yeah.
Right. On Twitter it's Egar Rabbi _ and then it's Tomiwale. So what I'm going to do this evening is I'm going to ask him some questions on Twitter, and then he's just going to reply, and I just take the conversation there if you have the time, but it's not going to be long. It's not going to be another session. It's just going to be brief, and then and then that's that. All right, guys, make sure you have a very wonderful Friday. Don't forget to go on Africa Business Radio to listen to this episode. It's going to be on podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Google Podcast. Right. Don't forget to also follow the AMRS to get the latest news on this show. It's Tomiwale, and please stay safe. If you're going to be driving a lot this evening, don't drink, and have a very wonderful weekend. Bye
guys.
You're listening to Africa Business Radio, where you get up-to-date insights on the Africa business landscape. Log on to www.africabusinessradio.com. Your favorite shows are available on podcasts. Download them on our website and mobile app. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
They are 1.8 billion globally. They would make 75% of workforce by 2025. They will outspace earnings of baby boomers in less than 10 years. Smartphones and tablets are the argument settlers and fact checkers for every conversation. Get more insights on African millennials on Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.